fighter.
It's the best new drama of the season.
Where do you draw the line?
From the producer of ER and The West Wing.
What line?
The Court, After Blue, Tuesday starting at 9/8 Central on ABC.
You've heard the lessons of hate and suspicion that have been part of the curriculum in some Saudi schools. And if you wonder what impression such ideas can make on a child's young, trusting mind, you're about to find out in no uncertain terms. Prepare yourself. As Barbara continues, you'll hear disturbing words from intelligent college students who have apparently learned their lessons well.
What kind of minds does the Saudi school system produce? To find out, we travel to the south of Saudi Arabia to the province of Asir. This mountainous region is considered a breeding ground of radical Islam. 4 of the Saudi hijackers are from here, went to school here. One even attended the local university. We asked Dr. Muhammad al-Adadi, an aide to the governor of Asir, what is and what is not being taught. We understand that King Khalid University here is a hotbed of extremism. Are the clerics who preach there more conservative, more fundamentalists?
Well, generally speaking, yes.
3 students sat down with me to help me understand their view of the world. How do you do? I'm Barbara Walters. 22-year-old Ahmed, an English major. 23-year-old Mohammed, a medical student. And 23-year-old Bassem, also an English major.
You'd rather not shake hands.
Who refused to shake my hand.
Bassem, may I ask you why you did not shake hands with me?
Because this prohibited in Islam.
To shake hands with a woman?
Yes.
But Mohammed and Ahmed, you shook my hand.
Well, for me, if anyone respects my beliefs and understands it, I'll respect his beliefs and his customs. That's why I shake you. I respect you.
What Ahmed and Muhammad did is against Islam, to be honest with you.
Yes, but why did I did that? Because you are a stranger and you did not know some issues in my religion.
Because it's my culture. You were being polite.
Yeah.
Your religion teaches religious tolerance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it teach tolerance of Jews and Christians?
Yes. We accept people and we believe every human being is free to choose his religion. This is a rule in our religion.
You all feel that?
Yeah.
I have a copy of a textbook. It says if you look into any crisis, Jewish people have a role to play. Have you been taught this? That Jews are behind
Yes.
crises? You have been taught this? Yes?
Not all the evil things, but this was taken from their history.
Do you feel that?
Yes, I feel that.
You feel that Jews are responsible for
Yes.
many of the crises, the bad things in the
Yes.
world?
If someone killed a prophet or a messenger from God, I think he will do bad,
Oh, you
worse
think
thing.
the Jews killed Christ? Is that what you're saying?
Killed many prophets and messengers.
So you think the Jews in general are a bad or dishonorable people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Do you in general feel that the Jewish people in history are people who are essentially bad people and cause problems? Do you feel that, Mohammed?
Yes, I feel.
Do you feel it about Christians or just Jews?
No, just Jews.
Just Jews.
Not Christians.
Do these views influence the way they look at the U.S.? The short answer is yes. And it all goes back to the issue that was inescapable wherever we ventured in this nation, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
What I know and what I'm sure is one thing, that American policy towards Palestinian and Israeli is totally wrong and totally shameful.
The people of America do not have a clear picture about what happened in Palestine.
The picture the Saudi students are getting comes from the West Bank and Gaza. On September 11th, however, the carnage was American.
September 11th, what was your reaction when you heard or saw what happened?
I thought it was some kind of movie stuff. They are doing some movies. But I realized it's real, and it was really terrifying and shock. It was like a shock for me.
I understand that there were Saudis, especially young people, who were happy when they heard what happened on September 11th.
It's not just young Saudi, it's all around the Islamic world. Let me see, many people were happy for what happened. They think that American did shameful things, especially, as I told you, in Palestine.
Do you think it was Saudi hijackers who hit the buildings?
There were many Saudis accused to be the executors of attacks, but we don't have any evidence. But there is other evidence that about 4,000 Jewish people were not in the International Trade Center.
So you think that 4,000 Jewish people deliberately stayed home because they knew the attack?
Maybe, maybe some of them, someone warned them. Okay, I'm not sure. I have no evidence, so I'm not using this as a proof.
Why do you think they feel that way?
Well, it's not only those students you have interviewed. This is one of the many theories of conspiracy that have circulated in the whole Arab world, even among the highly intellectual people. We tend to be, culturally speaking, to blame the other, for our own faults. And this is what has happened after September 11th.
We don't believe in extremism. I think it's even against our religion.
Prince Khalid Al Faisal, the governor of Asir, is Dr. Al Odadi's boss. He concedes that this kind of viewpoint could be dangerous, and that to fix the problem, the Saudi royal family must walk a tightrope between reform on the one hand and religious fundamentalism on the other. You are known as a voice of moderation in your country, and Crown Prince Abdullah, your country's leader, has called for self-reflection for Saudis. What changes do you think are necessary?
It's not the change, it's a development of thinking, the system of education, the social system, the economical system. All these things need development.
Especially the economic system. Saudi Arabia right now is going through a serious financial slump. Almost 3/4 of the population is under the age of 29. There are few jobs waiting for students like these, and even fewer they are willing to take. With so many social restrictions, young men have few outlets for their frustration. Many are bored, spending their weekend nights loitering at malls, aimlessly driving up and down the busy streets, chatting with girls the only ways possible, on their cell phones or on the internet. Others are simply angry. Osama bin Laden took advantage of this.
What do you think of Osama bin Laden?
If we suppose that Osama bin Laden is terrorist, let us begin with your president, George Bush. What happened in Afghanistan? About 5,000, I'm not sure about the number, 5,000 innocent Afghans were killed. They were innocent. So I'm not saying that Osama bin Laden not terrorist. What I'm saying that there are many terrorists around the world. To be just is to judge all the terrorists, not just judge one.
This is an opportunity for you to talk to Americans, perhaps American young people like yourself.
I want to tell them that we did not hate them, but please, don't support enemies against Muslims.
Each country and each nation has its own beliefs. So we respect their beliefs and we believe in them as a human.
You always seem to have the last word, Bas.
I deal with American people or any other people individually. I'm saying this, open your mind and I'll open my mind. If you respect me, for sure I respect you. If you like me, for sure I like you. And if you hate me, I'll hate you.
Just articulate and very disturbing at the same time. Something jumped out at me. That verse that was quoted about the tree hiding the Jew and calling the Muslim for it to kill, that very same verse, Osama bin Laden quoted to me in the first interview I did with him.
And so you think, where do they get it from, you know? The Saudi royal family, the government says they want to modernize, they want to change these textbooks, but so many of the clerics want to not just stay in the past, but go to the past. It is a very fine line they may not be able to cross.
Still to come, The Chosen One Osama bin Laden's brother speaks for the family.
How difficult has this been for your family?
But first, Saudi wives. Beneath the veil, satin, lace, and a sense of humor.
What do you look like when this comes off?
Miss Universe.
When 2020 returns.
The Strauss potting shed, where good hands go to get dirty. Check this out. When these marigolds were potted, they were the same size. Did this one get more sun? More water? No. The difference? This. Miracle Grow potting mix. Premium organic materials plus just the right amount of Miracle Grow plant food mixed in. Miracle Grow potting mix is so much richer than ordinary potting soil. Plants grow twice as big. Have you used Miracle Grow lately?
We have always felt that our trucks were tougher than anybody else's trucks. I've had people say to me, I own a Ford truck, and I have 120,000 miles on it, and it's still as good as the day I bought it. They say to me, gee, I'd love to buy an old Ford truck, but I can't find one that's really in mint condition. That's a great thing. Those trucks have been used hard for a lot of years. You see so many Ford trucks on the work site because these trucks can take what you can dish out year after year, generation after generation. And that's what they're built for. Built Ford Tough isn't just a slogan, it's what we deliver. And we just have to make sure that we continue to give them those kind of trucks so that their kids will say, I'll only buy a Ford, I'll never buy anything else. I mean, I love hearing that.
When it comes to allergies, I'm a grass, ragweed, pet dander. But my allergy medicine wasn't approved for the pet dander. So it was either get rid of it or get rid of Rufus.
Not all allergy medicines are approved for indoor and outdoor allergies. Prescription Zyrtec is FDA approved to treat indoor and outdoor allergies. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. Ask your doctor about switching to Zyrtec. Zyrtec. That's Zyrtec. Lots of allergies, just one Zyrtec.
I'm killing it. Hey, as long as they're Haynes.
Next week, you've grown up with him on TV. Now, Michael J. Fox reveals his real-life story, from his addiction to his true love to his battle with Parkinson's, and the bizarre medical mystery, why 4 people from his original sitcom face the same disease. Open and honest, Michael J. Fox, Diane Sawyer, Good Morning America.
Monday, 10/9 Central.
I got a disturbing phone call today. So are you really in trouble?
I could lose my job.
That teacher's a dead man.
But we have to tell people the truth.
And what's that?
Once and Again, Monday at 10/9 Central on ABC. What Saudi women put up with. Husbands who may want more than one wife.
If it's just for the fun of it, no.
Then, a message for America from Osama bin Laden's youngest brother. When 2020 continues, after this from our ABC stations.
Surprise!
Where did you get your glasses?
During Family Eye Health Month at Sears Optical, get eyeglasses for only $99.99. With hundreds of new frames, all in the latest styles and colors, everyone in the family will find a perfect pair. Stop in today. This $99 offer won't last long, but the second looks you get will.
Whose parents are going to be entering the Witness Protection Program?
On the next Weakest Link.
I'm attracted to the muscle, so it's distracting.
Do the strongest, stay the longest.
It's not about the money. It's about having a good time. Excuse me.
Find out who will bite the dust.
Jenny, the dental assistant. You should have kept your wisdom teeth.
On the next Weakest Link.
Every weeknight at 5 and 10 on ABC 30.
Schnooks. We make it easy.
Don't miss the annual spring sale going on now at the House of Denmark. Quality, functional, contemporary furniture. The House of Denmark.
Voyager, tonight at 11:05 on ABC 30.
Test drive the ultimate driving machine at your St. Louis area BMW Center.
"2020 continues. Once again, Barbara Walters.
Only months ago, the thought of a Saudi woman speaking to a Western reporter like myself would have been unthinkable. Now many Saudis, from the royal family to ordinary women, feel since September 11th, the time has come to better explain themselves. In this rare interview, the women talk with disarming honesty about the problems and the pleasures of being a Saudi female. Morning prayer in the home of Maha El-Monif, a Saudi doctor. The life of a Saudi woman is cloaked in secrecy. Rarely has a camera been allowed to penetrate the private life of Saudi women, who for Americans are a symbol of Saudi repression. I spent 10 days in Saudi Arabia to better understand the differences between our cultures. Often I covered my head, always my arms and legs. Not to would have been a sign of disrespect. I traveled to the desert, to the tents of Bedouin men, traditionally forbidden to women, to the sprawling urban malls that sell sexy clothes to the women who can only reveal them at home, and to this remote bazaar where older women told me they want the right to drive. One U.S. official said that next to the Taliban's cruel treatment of women in Afghanistan, Saudi restrictions are the most oppressive on earth. The truth, like everything here, is more complicated. So with reluctance and trepidation, 4 middle-class working women, a pediatrician with 3 children, a writer engaged to be married, a widowed professor, and a teacher raising 5 sons, sat down to talk with me. What do you think are the biggest misconceptions that American women have about Saudi women?
One of the images is of the Saudi princess who lives a very high life of luxury, who is not doing anything, who sleeps until 2 o'clock, wakes up and have, her parties at night.
Sounds good to me.
And there is also the other image of a Saudi woman who is downtrodden, completely subdued by her husband and by the society. Both of those images are not representative of Saudi women of today.
But there are no misconceptions when it comes to certain restrictions against women. Women cannot drive. They can't be admitted to a hospital without permission from a male relative. The same applies to travel. They are segregated in schools, streets, restaurants, and public transportation. Of these restrictions, which are the most difficult for you?
Not driving is very, very difficult for me, and it's frustrating at times.
There are 500,000 immigrant drivers in Saudi Arabia, there just to transport women around the country. But that's only for families that can afford to pay for drivers. If a family cannot afford a driver, the father or husband must leave work to take his wife or children everywhere they need to go. For the kingdom, this is a tremendous economic drain. Nothing in the Quran dictates that women can't drive. The Saudi ban is based on a strict ruling by the country's highest religious clerics. It is only in Saudi Arabia of the Arab countries that women are not permitted to drive. All of you would like to drive in this country if you were allowed to. Yes?
Yes.
I would not.
You would not. Now you're the youngest and you would not want to drive.
Just thinking of the harassment that I might face if I drive a car would definitely hinder me.
Some women actually do drive, that is in secret. Dr. El-Monif took us to the desert, and there she drove freely through the sand. A sharp contrast to life back in the city, where a trip to work at the grocery store means literally taking a back seat. 12 years ago, during the Gulf War, 50 Saudi women drove in protest. Some were arrested or lost their jobs. Nearly all were branded as outcasts. What if thousands of women got together and protested? Is that even something that is thinkable?
It's not within our tradition.
We wouldn't ask for it by force. We would use convincing.
Do you want your wife and daughters to drive?
I have no compunction against that.
Prince Saud Al Faisal is Saudi Arabia's foreign minister. How would you explain to Americans these restrictions on your women?
God knows the women folk in my home, my daughters and my wife, are more harsh than your question indicates in their talk. Every night I hear this.
What do you say to them?
I agree with them, of course.
To Americans, perhaps, the greatest symbol of oppression is the forced wearing of the veil and robe known as the abaya. To these women, however, oppression is hardly the word they would use. When you dress in black and sometimes cover your faces, does this bother you, or is it okay?
Sometimes I consider my robe as a bless.
Why is it a plus?
I wouldn't have to overdress. I'll just put it on.
Like a uniform.
Exactly, just slip it on, hit the road.
What about covering your faces? I have seen the women and I think, how do they see?
It's like a sunglasses or something.
Yeah. I'll take your word for it. When I go to the mall, your very modern mall, I see all kinds of things being sold for women. They can't all be for foreigners. Do you buy those clothes?
Yes, we do.
Low-cut things, spangles, sequins, beads?
You should see us in parties.
Yeah, what do you look like when this comes off?
Miss Universe.
No, I bet you do. As liberated as these women may feel at home, once they step outside, they remain second-class citizens who walk a delicate line between reform and living with traditions that are strictly, even harshly, enforced. If you walk down the street and your head and your face are not covered, what happens?
You can be stopped by the Mutawa or the religious police.
The Mutawa is the religious police.
The religious police, saying that you have to be covered.
Islam doesn't dictate that women cover their faces. The religious police impose that restriction in the name of Allah. Run-ins with the Matawa, who patrol all the streets and malls, can lead to public humiliation, tears, and even jail. In spite of all the restrictions, our women said they feel protected by their husbands or fathers and comforted by a strong extended family. Sometimes these families are really extended. How do you feel about Muslim men being allowed to have 4 wives?
We don't feel good about it. We don't feel good about it at all.
When it is necessary for him to have good, like he doesn't have children, for example, or his wife is sick, for example, then he's allowed. But if it's just for the fun of it, no, I wouldn't.
And he has to also go and seek the permission of his first wife in order to marry the second wife. And you know, it's not going to happen. She is not going to give him permission.
Do any of your husbands have more than 1 wife?
No.
Did any of your fathers?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather?
Only for the sake of having more children.
How many wives did he have?
I had 3.
In other aspects of life, there are signs of change. Crown Prince Abdullah, whom our women universally praise, has spoken out in favor of more rights for women. But still, there are pressing concerns, like education. From childhood through university, men and women are schooled separately. Only 7% of the women are in the workforce. They are mostly limited to the so-called caring professions, like medicine, and completely shut out of positions of power.
If we don't, as a society, open up the role of women, we are going to die as a society.
All of us have to work.
All of you have to work.
I am the breadwinner of my family, and I'm the only one who's supporting them.
Do you want what we call equality of the sexes?
I want equality in all areas. Equality to choose the husband you want, equality to choose the education you want, the equality even when you go out on the street, having the freedom out on the street. I want that equality.
But they don't want everything that Western women have.
I wouldn't want to be forced to do some sort of work to provide, for example, the living for my children. It is left to be optional for me.
Well, I don't want to work in something that will hurt my muscles or that I have to pay lots of physical, work. No, I don't want that equality, really.
Is there any message that you would like to give to American women?
Saudi women have a very significant role, and I wish they respect the culture that we have, the tradition, and above all, our religion. What is best for the Western community not necessarily is the best for our community here.
Something for us to remember.
It sure is. Well, coming up next, a frightened man, Osama bin Laden's youngest brother.
When 2020 returns, a family to be proud of until September 11th. But what if your last name were bin Laden now?
What would you most like to say to the American people?
Osama bin Laden's brother stifling fear to speak out for the first time. Next.
Yo, yes, you're excited. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Beneful. You've never seen anything like it before. It has wholesome grains, real beef, even carrots and peas. So there's carbohydrates for energy and protein for those serious muscles. And you even get some vegetables. So happy. Love it so much you only think you're getting spoiled. Yes, you do. But it's good for you, too.
Healthful, flavorful, Beneful. Beneful brand by Purina.
We pass on so much to our children. Our eyes, the color of our hair, even a bit of our personality. And when we own a home, we find it's even possible
Carlos, dinner time. Okay.
to pass along our dreams. Call the Fannie Mae Foundation for a free guide to help put you on the path to home ownership and for a list of lenders and credit counselors.
The next 4 years. Brought to you by the United States Postal Service.
Mom, I got in.
Introducing the agile all-wheel drive Saturn Vue. At home in almost any environment.
Thursday, Diane Sawyer with the daring tale of a beautiful newlywed filled with a dangerous obsession.
Someone tried to kill my father. I couldn't just accept that.
She would track down the terrorist who fired a bullet at her father's head and make him pay.
You had lied to them, in effect.
I deceived them, absolutely.
Revenge, fear, and twists so startling you'll never guess how it ends. Primetime, Thursday.
No judges, no rules, just skating. Medalists from the World Championships showcase their talents with special performances. Saturday at 2 Eastern on ABC.
Monday, one man who's ready to commit.
People have to move fast.
15 women vying for his attention.
I actually stole Alex away on purpose. Just kind of disgusted me. She's a little pushy. They're jealous, purely jealous.
And the competition is just heating up.
It's like a little cat fight.
The Bachelor.
I don't feel special anymore.
Who will he choose to be his wife? A new episode Monday at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
Hey, enough about me. Here are the specials.
Schnucks won't be undersold by Deerbergs or Shop and Save on Kretschmar, Field Kentucky Legend, or Double G whole boneless ham. You'll get the best price at Schnucks, guaranteed. Pick up a spring favorite in the produce department. Fresh asparagus is just $1.48 a pound. All varieties of Betty Crocker Layer Cake Mix are buy one, get one free. And all varieties of Minute Maid Premium Orange Juice are buy one, get one free.
Schnucks. We make it easy.
Before you buy a car this weekend, there's one place you need to go. The only place where every car will give you an instant feeling of exhilaration. That one place is your Mazda dealer. And this weekend is a great time to come in for a test drive and take advantage of great offers. Right now, get limited term 0% APR financing on any 2002 Mazda. Or up to $2,500 cash back on select models. So don't miss out. Hurry to your St. Louis area Mazda dealer this weekend.
If you love handmade crafts and unique gifts, or maybe it's that special unique home decoration you've been looking for, come to Coomer's Craft Mall, America's largest selection of handmade arts and crafts. Come marvel at the wonderful handmade creations of local artists, or select from hundreds of original crafts that come from across America. And we're open 7 days a week. Coomers is always looking for quality crafters in any of our 26 locations. Check out our website at www.coomers.com or call 1-888-DO-CRAFTS for the Coomers location nearest you.
I mentioned having interviewed Osama bin Laden, and when I did, he blamed the Saudi royal family for driving a wedge between him and his own family. And since September 11th, no member of the bin Laden family has spoken out, frightened of harassment and of calling attention to themselves. But now, for the very first time, the bin Laden family has sent one of its own to talk with Barbara.
He is 35 years old, and his name is Abdullah. He is Osama bin Laden's youngest brother. And as we sat down together, he was so nervous, and who could blame him? He had a difficult task to talk about the brother who has turned their respected family name into an object of fear and loathing. Osama bin Laden, the bearded fugitive we've seen gloating on tape, the Afghan freedom fighter, the man who has declared a holy war on the United States. It's hard to think of Osama bin Laden rollicking in Lebanon's flesh pots, chasing women and pouring liquor down his throat, but he did. He did all of that in Beirut as a college student, regularly escaping the ascetic ways of Saudi Arabia to cut loose with wine and women. He was a child of privilege, wealthy and spoiled, coming of age in the prosperous port city of Jeddah on the Red Sea. His father, although illiterate, founded the largest construction firm in the country.
The bin Laden family is truly a Saudi success story.
Prince Bandar bin Sultan, the Saudi ambassador to the United States, admired Mohammed bin Laden.
It's one man, self-made, and that one man with his work ethics became part of the Islamic world.
Bin Laden's company expanded the holy mosques in Mecca and Medina, contracts directly offered by the royal family. Bin Laden construction also changed the face of Saudi Arabia over the past 40 years. Roads, airports, bridges, and skyscrapers.
And it's an ironic fate of history that one Bin Laden had so much positive force to contribute to architecture, to development. Another Bin Laden was hurt Islam.
Osama bin Laden was one of 54 children Mohammed sired by several wives. When Osama fully embraced Islam in his 20s, he did so with a vengeance. He eventually went to Afghanistan to lead Muslim freedom fighters against Soviet invaders. Abdullah bin Laden is one of Osama's younger brothers. He has a Harvard law degree and was living in Boston on September 11th. He has been back in Saudi Arabia since then in fear of harassment. But Abdullah bin Laden reluctantly agreed to break the family silence and speak with me. September 11th, when you realized that the attacks were the work of your brother, how did you feel?
First of all, I mean, we were horrified by the tragedy. We were saddened by it because I've been living there and it's part of my life. And I looked at it as a tragedy not only for American, but for humanity as a whole.
How difficult has this been for your family?
We went through a tough time. It was difficult, but and we felt we are a victim as well. But no matter what happened to us, it is not. I mean, as our tragedy is not as bad, or we don't feel about as those victims, the family of the victims in New York. I mean, our tragedy comparing to their tragedy is there is no comparison, and we do feel for them.
Do you have any idea what made Osama bin Laden the man he is?
I wish I can answer this question.
Abdullah bin Laden finds the question difficult because his brother, Osama, has been estranged from the family for some time. At one point, Osama was in line to take over the construction business, but he turned his back on the family and its business after Afghanistan. By then, the targets of his Islamic fervor had grown to include the rulers of his homeland, Saudi Arabia, and the imperialists in the United States. His own family began to shun him. When was the last time you saw him?
The last time I saw him in the late 80s. This was during the funeral of my oldest brother when he died.
What was he like?
I don't recall things because it was a family tragedy.
So you barely know him.
It's true.
And yet you have the pressure of bearing a family name as distinguished as it is.
It is true. We do want to feel guilty by association, or do want people to accuse us of being guilty by us because we carry the same name.
Your family cut off funds to Osama bin Laden. When did you do that, and under what circumstances?
The family got separated from him in 1993.
You cut off all funds?
Everything.
Everything. And no one in the family continued to see him?
No.
Does any of your family still support Osama bin Laden in any way?
No.
No. Not emotionally and not in terms of any kinds of funds? No. I understand that at one point your family tried to plead with Osama bin Laden to change his views.
To the best of my knowledge, yes, they tried, but I'm not aware of the details.
Mm-hmm. What would you most like to say to the American people? What would you most like them to understand?
We are a big family. We have so many brothers and sisters. And if a member took a different direction, the rest shouldn't be blamed for the act of one individual.
The terrible trouble one brother can cause. Abdullah bin Laden says that he hopes one day soon he can return to Cambridge, Massachusetts, where he says he had been very happy.
When 2020 returns, the question angry Americans have been asking since September 11th, whose side are they really on?
It may be that Osama bin Laden deliberately chose Saudis to participate.
Definitely, they wanted to drive a wedge between the two countries.
Next.
Hey, I've got some good news for you today. Despite all the things going around in this world, Jesus never changes. And he really loves you, and he cares about you right where you are.
Working hard or working out, nutrition is important. With Centrum or Centrum Silver, you benefit from what science discovers about how the right multivitamins help unlock energy and strengthen immunity. Centrum and Centrum Silver, always complete from A to Zinc.
Yeah.
Howie, don't miss the big wireless sale at Radio Shack!
I swear I heard Terry.
Yes, Howie, you clearly heard Terry. Now get a clear digital Sprint PCS phone by Samsung. The N200 is just $99.99 after a $50 Sprint PCS mail-in rebate. Then, save another $50 only at Radio Shack. Get 4,000 clear wireless minutes for only $39.99 a month.
I just love it when I get into his head. Howie!
The Sprint store at Radio Shack.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
You want to try a new McDonald's Chicken Select Strip? Free. Order any regular menu sandwich and get one. Free. April 1st and 2nd only.
I wanna really, really, really wanna zig ah.
ABC News, winner of the prestigious Peabody Award for Broadcasting Excellence for the depth and breadth of coverage on and following September 11th, 2001.
Before September 11th, if you gave a thought to Saudi Arabia at all, it probably had to do with oil and your car. Now the association is terrorism. Is the bond, however testy, between the United States and the Saudis broken for good? Barbara looks into the future, starting with the very influential foreign minister, Prince Saud Al Faisal.
Your Royal Highness, most of the hijackers were Saudis. Some people say Saudi Arabia bears some responsibility for the attacks.
This, of course, came as a shock to us. And the hurt that we feel is compounded by this fact that Saudis were involved in it.
It may be that Osama bin Laden deliberately chose Saudis to participate, to make trouble between our two countries. Do you think so?
On purpose, definitely. He wanted to drive a wedge between the two countries.
And he succeeded. Some of the damage to U.S.-Saudi relations has been repaired since September, but differences do stand out. Iraq is one of them. Saudi bases, the foreign minister told us, would be out of bounds in any military action the United States might want to take against Saddam Hussein. The Palestinians, as you have heard, are another problem area. The Saudis feel the U.S. has unfairly favored Israel over the years. But during our visit, even where the hand of friendship was withheld, we found a genuine admiration for America and Americans. Everywhere, we met far more moderates than extremists, people concerned about the strain between our two countries, but hopeful about the future. Prince Bandar, whose experience straddles both countries, has a unique perspective.
I had the honor to be ambassador to your country, a great country, for almost 20 years now. I have never seen this relationship being tested as much as it has been since 11 September. But my gut feeling tells me this relationship is based on solid foundation that it will survive. But I will be less than honest with you to say it's not being tested severely now. And I believe Crown Prince Abdullah, President Bush, have enough wisdom between the two of them. Both are straight shooters. And at such trying times, you need leaders who start from the assumption of being friends to be straight with each other. And that, I think, is going to save the relationship and bring it back to what it was. But it's been tested severely, I must tell you.
Perhaps it is being tested. I mean, for so many years, the relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia boiled down to the U.S. providing security in return for oil. Much more complicated than that now. And the Crown Prince, the leader of the country, is not standing on the sidelines during this either.
No, big Arab summit meeting this week with a peace plan for Israel, which will probably be very hard for them to accept. But that's why it's so important that we understand the mindset of the countries in that area, and I hope that maybe we were able to shed a little light tonight.
I hope we have. That's our program for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to watch Nightline after your local news. I'm John Miller.
And I'm Barbara Walters, and for all of us here at 2020, we wish you and your family a very happy Easter. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
The original Top 10 list, The 10 Commandments, ABC Sunday, 7, 6 Central.
They must strike a deal with the enemy.
An alliance.
Or abandon all hope. Get down! Star Trek Voyager.
Tonight at 11:05 on ABC 30.
Right now, get out there and get in a new Ford, because your quality Ford story is with great deals on Ford Explorer and Explorer Sport. Now take $1,500 cash back or 0% financing on Explorer, the #1 selling compact SUV, or $2,500 cash back or 0% on Explorer Sport. But you'd better hurry, because we're with the best deals on America's #1 choice.